All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving our praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, B'cha HaKodash. The abundance unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. And I also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And in this morning's lesson, I wanted to read the book of Exodus, chapter 6, here in the GNT Bible. And I wanted to read down unto verse down to verse 13, Lord willing. No. But I want to read this here, man, because we're heading into the Passover. And I was listening to the book of Exodus this morning here on my way to the shop for work. And here in chapter 6, man, this passage here always sticks out to me because it gives us an insight onto why some Jakes are so frustrated and don't want to hear about the Most High and us being Israelites and, salvation and stuff like that because of what we have endured as a people, man. And if you look into slavery, right, if you read about it, you see the images, and the details of it, bro. Slavery was very, very, very brutal. Okay. Um, we truly can't put into words or even explain how bad slavery was. I don't think the English language has a word for how terrible and how bad slavery was. But it was very bad. And in those times of slavery, Jim Crow and the hangings, the brutal assault of Jake, no one came to save us, right? Hey, Shalom, Prabhupada Tawab, Shalom, Yahweh Shemo Shai, Brakatham, Brakatham, to be whoever's listening to this live show. But yeah, man, slavery was bad, right? And so nobody came to save us from that brutal slavery, the lynchings, the hangings, the assault of Jake, and going through that has turned some Jakes away from the, from the Lord or from hearing about salvation of the Most High. And I get the frustration because guess what? Our forefathers, during the time of ancient Egypt when we was in captivity, when Moses came to them after, the Most High showed him miracles, right? Talked to him and all that stuff. Moses came to the Israelites saying, look, Most High will come and save us, da 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 da. Jake didn't want to hear it. And so I want to read that account so that you can see how Jake responded. All right, which is understandable. Okay. Let me get it here. So this is Exodus chapter 6, starting at verse 1. I have the GNT Bible pulled up. It says, then the Lord Yahweh said to Moses, now you are going to see what I will do to the king. I will force him to let my people go. In fact, I will force him to drive them out of his land. God spoke to Moses and said, I am the Lord Yahweh. I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, as God Almighty. But I do not make myself known to them by my holy name, the Lord Yahweh. Now, here, the Lord is not saying that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob didn't know his name. He wasn't well known unto them by his name Yahweh. Okay, but they knew the name of the Lord, bro. Just go read the scriptures and the accounts of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They clearly knew the name of the Lord, right? So it says, I also made my covenant with them, promising to give them the land of Canaan, the land in which they have lived as foreigners. Now I have heard the groaning of the Israelites, whom the Egyptians have enslaved, and I have remembered my covenant. So just as our forefathers groaned, right, because of the bitterness of slavery, bro, you better believe Jake was crying out, bro, for help during those harsh times of slavery for centuries, okay? The same thing our forefathers were doing when we came into Babylon in captivity, bro. You know Jake was crying out for some kind of relief of what they was enduring, bro. That, brother, that shit was, oh my goodness. It was super bad, okay? But Jake endured that, right? So the Lord heard the groaning of our forefathers back then. He heard our groanings this time, right? It says, so tell the Israelites that I say to them, I am the Lord Yahweh. I will rescue you and set you free from your slavery to the Egyptians. This same message is unto Jake today. The Most High is going to rescue us and set us free from slavery here in Babylon the Great. Now, when some Jakes hear that, they get turned off. They don't want to hear nothing about no God and all that stuff because of what Jake has endured, right? But guess what? Those of us of the hopefully elect, when we heard that we were Israelites, the covenants for us, salvation for us, we rejoiced. We were happy because in the spirit, we were looking for answers. We were looking for relief, man, for a way out. Now, did we know what we were looking for? No, we wasn't, okay? But someone in us wanted to be free, wanted answers, man. Things that didn't seem right to us. And so, in the dispensation of time, the Most High had it to where when you heard the word, it instantly lit something in you, bro. I was 19 when I found out I was an Israelite, okay? Fresh out of, high school, freshman year in college, I found out I was an Israelite. I was blown away. I didn't know how to process. I didn't know, I'm like, okay, I'm Israelite. So what do I do now? I don't know what to do, I was playing football, I was damn good at football, trying to go to the league, but the Most High, man, had it to where I heard that I was an Israelite. And look, you want to know something funny, bro? My senior year of high school, right? In the library, there was a little small green Bible about this big, okay? And they told us to pick a book out. And so I said, I told the librarian, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take this book right. She said, that's a Bible. I said, oh, it's fine. I said, it's gonna give me good luck. So for that whole year, I had that Bible in my book bag, bro. Not knowing that I would be doing what I'm doing now, but for a whole year, I had that Bible in my book bag. And even when I was in the 10th grade, right, my my ex-girlfriend can tell you this. I was 10th grade. I was telling her, I said, man, you know what? I want to learn about history in the Bible, man. I said, it's something about this stuff I just don't know. I said, I'm gonna learn it. And she know that because years later when she talked to me again, she said, you always said you wanted to learn about the Bible and stuff. Now you're doing that stuff. I said, I said, yeah. I said, I guess. So it was just little signs here and there, the Lord. But I had that Bible, man. And on the last day of school, bro, no. I think the day before I was supposed to return that book back to the library, somebody stole my book bag, bro. I said, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, bro? Like, I stole my book bag. Are you kidding me? But yeah, man, it was just little signs here. So when I found out, bro, I was elated. I still playing football. I didn't know how to process being an Israelite. I didn't know what to do. But I had the knowledge of it. Okay, I had my Bible. I was taking notes, just trying to learn. Like this was back in 2012. So you do the math. So I'm like, okay, this is all right, cool. But anyway, I I was just elated about finding out being an Israelite. I was happy as I was so happy, probably the best day of my life. You know, hearing about salvation, hearing these scriptures being broken down, I was I was out of that, bro. Like excited. You know. So this same word of salvation is unto Jake today. It says, I will raise my mighty arm to bring terrible punishment upon them, and I will save you. I will make you my own people, and I will be your God. You will know that I am the Lord your God when I set you free from slavery in Egypt. And guess what? We're going to know the same thing when the Lord saved us this time. We're going to know for sure who Yahweh is when we're saved, man. It says, I will bring you to the land that I solemnly promised to give to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I will give it to you as your own possession. I am the Lord Yahweh. So that same promise that the Lord said back then is to this same day. The Lord gave us a land back then, right? But Jake was doing the most. And here come my trainee coming, man. All right, he coming to get into the truck. But I'm going to read verse 9. It says, Moses told this to the Israelites, but they would not listen to him because their spirit had been broken by their cruel slavery. Yeah, so there was it says, so Moses told it to the Israelites, but it says, but they would not listen to him because their spirit had been broken by cruel slavery. So slavery made Jake not listen to Moses. Okay. Now when you read chapter 5, it said that when Jake heard that the Lord had visited him, they bowed in worship. But then here it's saying Jake didn't want to listen to Moses because of hardcore slavery, man. They was catching so much hell. They hearing about some salvation, bro. They didn't want to hear that. They was going through the most. They didn't want to hear nothing about no salvation, nothing about no God, about no nothing. Leave us alone. That's how Jake was acting. Even all the way up to Jake got to the, to the sea. They said, "Look, Moses, leave us alone. We told you to leave us alone in Egypt. Just let us go be slaves, bro." It's the same mentality today. Jake just want to be a damn slave. Jake don't care about no salvation because it seems as if there's no hope. But for those of us that been given the spirit, we know that it's hope, man. We know that it's salvation coming for us, bro. Because we have the spirit to see, right? The prophecies. We know it all, So I'm going to close out there, man, because my training about to get in. I'm about to go train this young fella, right? How to be a gas, man. But I pray that was edifying. Lord willing, tonight I do my Thursday live. But I pray it was edifying, bro. But yeah, man, you get a chance, listen to the book of Exodus. We heading into the Passover. It's good to listen to that book to get them accounts, But I pray it was edifying. I praise you. How about Shalom, 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 Shalom.